give access to 1G or 2G devices, feature phones maybe. So instead of concentrating on developing smartphone apps using Windows 8, iOS, or Android, why not concentrate on the lowest common denominator, which is SMS? You can still develop a fancy cloud-based backend solution, but the point of entry for your users will be SMS, and that is more universally accessible.
I was in India in November preparing for this annual meeting, and I needed a telephone. So I went into Nokia for $16, and I got a great phone, 2 SIM card went into it, and switched it on. It has these applications for agriculture, for education, for health. And it's driven by there's a technical term called something like voice over IP, right? Which is, what's the IP stand for? I know the voice over. It's brilliant. It's on this phone. It's for people who can't read. Which is the market in India. Hundreds of millions who pay 1 or 2 very small amounts of money for this service, and they listen, and it goes, if you want to know when it's the right time to harvest your corn, press 1. There's some really interesting applications from very smart development, but in an environment where the leverage is not a lot of money in that communities, but there's more telephones than there are toilets.
Yeah, I think I understand the apprehension of software developers on here. You really don't know what app to build. But I think I have a unsolicited advice. ADB funds NGOs, right? Does ADB fund projects endorsed by NGOs?
ADB has many of our projects where we collaborate or work with NGOs.
So maybe we could shoot 2 birds with 1 stone. Since we're looking for apps, and you already have identified NGOs, which have the pulse of what is really needed, maybe you could introduce us to those NGOs, or make a list of these NGOs and their IT needs in your website. Then we could have a roadmap. Because right now we don't have a roadmap. We don't know what to build, why to build it, if it will be feasible. So if you have a list of NGOs, maybe they have already identified the needs pertaining to IT, you could just publish it on your website. And from there, you could pick it up.
Yeah, there's some great... Yeah, we can do that.
Hi, thank you. We're actually one of the vendors. We're interested. We understand. We read the invitation. We understand that ADB is working with Microsoft to provide us an opportunity to reach out to probably governments who have projects that can answer the needs of for civil governance and education. Now we just want to we're really interested in developing these applications that you have posted on your website, like for reaching out to for transportation, for example. We already have an application that's capable of doing that. We just want to know how do you choose a selection? I understand you're going to choose 3, and then you're going to bring us to, if we get chosen, we'll be going to the ADB Governors Board meeting where we can present, hopefully, and have an audience with governments from different countries. And if they have projects, then maybe they can get us so that we can build the applications for them. Not really NGOs, but more for the needs of the people in that particular government or sector, right?
That's
so
right.
How do we, now we're ready to develop, we have a product in mind, we already have requirements. How do we win this thing? I mean, what are your qualifications? How do you choose? And then how do we know?
Arnie, after the break, Arnie will be talking about the mechanics of the Apps for Asia contest. that will include talking about the judging criteria and all the different next steps that are going to take us from here to where we are in the future. So just hold on.
But everyone's a winner, right?
Everyone is a winner. Everybody who submits an application is going to be promoted and supported and engaged and on the website. And
it's not just the three. Everyone here. We're hoping to.
I think we have time for one last question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, sir. For example, we develop an application, and not all of us are definitely going to be winners. So it's just going to be 3. So if all of those applications are going to be posted in Apps for Asia website, how long is that going to be? Supported by ADB and Microsoft. Until we get, for example, by a government or institution, and that's the only time that you guys are going to be leaving that application, or is that going to be continuously posted right there until a lot of people are able to see in that one? And what's the criteria of you guys are going to be supporting that application for how long?
That's a fair question. It will be there permanently. We're building a permanent directory on the Apps for Asia site. Where all of your applications will be there year after year. You can resubmit applications, redefine applications, whatever you want to do. Our goal is to make this movement last, hopefully, well, nothing lasts forever, but hopefully for as long as we can, however long forever is. Okay, so that's our commitment to you as the developer community to continue to promote your applications and your companies. And since this is ongoing, you can submit applications this year, you can submit them next year. We're going to continue to grow, and eventually we'll have a marketplace of applications that all of you will be a part of. Okay? So I would like to take just a moment to thank Chris and Ponce and the representatives from the Asian Development Bank who have, in my opinion, really executed a CEO level briefing to all of you about the opportunities that are out there. If you thought there couldn't possibly be, anything else that could be created. Everyone's invented everything, right? The fact of the matter is that's not true at all. There are a lot of great needs, opportunities for you to address, interesting challenges. And as I opened this morning's session by saying, the most sustainable and long-lasting and impactful innovations in the world have been ones that have addressed a need. And I think if you've sat through this session and you've listened and you've tried to absorb what we're telling you, it's a great privilege to have somebody stand in front of you and give you all this information and give you resources where you can go to on the internet and content that you can go and research and videos you can watch and all sorts of other things to really stimulate your knowledge about where you could potentially make a difference and where you could meet a need in the marketplace and make money at it. Right? And it doesn't have to be a phone app. If your firm's not strong on phone, make PC and tablet-based apps. Doesn't matter. We launched Apps for Asia in Malaysia last week, and a guy came up to me and said, "I'm thinking about an application for blood banks, because in Malaysia we have a problem, tracking blood, and we don't know what blood is HIV contaminated and what one isn't, So I want to build an application that we can install in all the blood banks, so that information can be shared and create a network of blood database." I thought that's a fantastic idea. Doesn't involve a mobile phone. So again, we're leaving it up to you in terms of your problem-solving abilities, your creativity, your insights into a problem that happens to be unique and interesting to you. And we're gonna take all of your efforts and we're gonna go and we're gonna expose it to the market. We're gonna expose it to a big market of government, multinational corporations, NGOs, media coverage. We're going to try to make this a marketing opportunity for you guys that you've never had before. So, you know, I really appreciate you showing up today. I know that our partners who are sponsoring and supporting this, all the names on the slide below, and the ADB, we're very, very excited about this, and we really, really hope that you guys are equally excited and that everybody takes this up and makes it an opportunity for themselves. So, without delay, I will turn this back over to our MC, and you can announce what's going to happen next.
Right, so what's going to happen next? We actually need to clarify the questions. So we'll have a 15-minute break. Actually, if you don't mind, we'll maybe cut it to maybe 10 minutes. Everybody, Mr. Jim Ison from Smart Development. Your mentor for mobile and all of the communication related items. Okay? Good. You excited, Nirvana? Yeah. You don't sound excited? Yeah. Are you excited, Nirvana?
Yes.
Alright. Sige, so let's start out with, perhaps, how to now develop your product. So, are you going to take that was Martin that cue or?
Okay, sure. Let me see what
I can. Please. Okay. Yeah, got it.
Okay. Yeah. So, you guys know about this? I'm going to stand up. It's easier for me that. You guys know about business model canvas? Anyone? No one? Some of you? Yeah, I know. Okay, bottom line, you got to know this first because we're going to accept your entries on that one page only. So, now, before we start going into all the details, the product has to be viable on its own, right? So there's no funding, there's limited support, mentoring and connecting, but there's no money coming from ADB or Microsoft in making it real. It has to be supported on its own merits. So if you want something that is, and there's plenty of opportunities there, especially what technology can do in Asia Pacific. Business Model Canvas has 9 core areas that any business needs to, actually any startup at least, needs to understand, and it can be applied even with the larger business. But definitely, it's a good starting point for any startup. I mean, sometimes you get an idea that, oh, I'm going to build this app, but then a lot of time you miss out on certain aspects, like, how do you do this, or you realize that much later, maybe when you are going to Earl to ask for money, and he asks, how are you going to make money? Oh, really? I need to make money also? Those kind of things can be avoided by going through the business model canvas. Very quickly, I'm just running through this, and then we're going to give you a link where you can get yourself educated more on this. This is how the world is building apps. So this came out from Steve Blank out of Stanford. Your alma mater, right? Yeah. And Steve Blank and some of the others, Eric Rice, they have been formulating this as the way to build a startup when you don't have money. Okay. So, gone are the days when you used to get these millions just with an idea, 2000 and all bubbles, but not happening. Even in US, most of the funding.
Let me just add, sorry. You might be wondering because maybe some of you here are